for coming. It's awfully nice looking out into the crowd and not only seeing a lot of the local media guys that covered my racing career and all the events we've done since then, but I see a lot of friends and family, and I hope I don't choke up here.
Entitled to it.
But yeah, I mean, as you guys know, that over the last couple of months, a lot's been publicized since Formula One announced that Austin had won the hosting rights for the United States Grand Prix. I think I want to turn it over to Red and just say thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, Tavo. I don't have the time, and I don't think you would want me to take the time to express what all Tavo has gone through to get this put together. He arranged for a call from London this morning with Bernie Ecclestone, who is the man that makes decisions for Formula One. And he made the arrangements for me to be talking to him just before we started this meeting here. And when Tavo came and asked if we would participate in this, we had to get on a quick learning curve of what Formula One is and what it means. I had no idea the scope of Formula One. As I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of challenges. Although we have a site picked, we've now, with the word out, we've now begun to get information back from some other people who kind of like to compete with that. Tavo doesn't like for me to talk about that at all because this site has already been approved. And more than likely, this is where we're going to be. But I will say that if a little magic came into the game, I might try to convince Tavo that there might be another site around here that could do just as well. I see this, and I haven't even mentioned this to Tavo because he may shoot me down, but I've already named it Speed City. Because we're going to have a lot of involvement other than just this 1 week a year on this circuit of this Formula One. So Tavo, now that I have praised you, I have anointed you, I've done everything except hand you a check. That may be a long time coming.
Tonight it is our pleasure to welcome Tavo Hellmund to Wind Tunnel. Tavo, thanks for your time. We're pleased to have you here tonight. Anxious to hear about Austin.
Well, thanks, Dave. I appreciate the invitation.
Tell me a little of your own racing history. You won road races in several different series. How serious were you about making a career as a driver?
Oh, well, I was pretty serious. I mean, I did all the short track stuff here as a kid. And then I went overseas.
Reaction to the announcement that Austin would host a Formula One race has been all over the ballpark. I'm sure you've seen that. Tell me why you think Texas Capital City is the right place for the latest iteration of the U.S. Grand Prix.
Well, you know, Bernie and I talked about it a lot in kind of the mid-2000s. I mean, 2005, 6, and 7. And when you really start looking at it, I mean, there's a lot of locations in the U.S. that have pros and cons. I mean, I think the one negative drawback to something on the East Coast, to New York or something like that, is that they already have that region being a little bit served with Montreal.
What do you guys know that the previous promoters didn't?
Well, I don't know if it's that we know anything. I know that when I was dealing with Bernie, and this started many years ago, I mean, he understood that. You know, I think he gets a little bit of a bad rap. It's not that he's not an awfully tough negotiator. I mean, he's legendary for that. But he knew that he had to be a partner. I mean, and he needs to want for F1 to succeed in the United States.
Tell me if I'm inferring too much here. Your personal relationship with Bernie Ecclestone appears to be a key to your getting a Formula One date for a track yet to be built. Tell us more about that relationship. How far back do you and Bernie go?
Well, as far as the relationship, it's really since I can even remember. I know that my dad and he were good friends even before I was born. But I've had a great relationship with Bernie.
Hello, I'm Lee Diffie, and this is a special Speed Centre presentation. For those of you turning on to watch American Trucker, we'll get you there in just a few moments' time. But first, a significant announcement today in Austin, Texas, regarding the new Formula One circuit that's currently under construction in preparation to host its first GP next year. Speed's voice of F1, Bob Varsha, had the pleasure of being in Austin today to MC the function and has been soaking up all the excitement in Texas. Bob, tell us more.
In 2 days here in Austin, Texas, eyeballing the new $250 million Circuit of the Americas coming out of the ground just outside the city limits, and talking with race organizer Tavo Hellmund, who's building that racetrack, a couple of things occur to me. One is the length and breadth and depth of Hellmund's vision for this racetrack. It's not going to rely only on events like Formula One and the MotoGP World Championship, but it has a four-pronged approach involving motorsports, business, education, and entertainment, which I think bodes well for the financial future of the facility and the racing events that it'll hold.
As you can see, Circuit of the Americas is well beyond the groundbreaking stage. Well, today's announcement was multi-layered. It wasn't all about the name of the circuit or an update on construction. The folks in Austin saved something big for the end. MotoGP is coming to Austin in 2013, and they've signed a 10-year agreement.
What MotoGP means is I think it complements and hopefully we can enhance what the guys at Indy and Laguna are doing, who have done such a great job. I mean, the profile that MotoGP has in America is really high, and we're fortunate that we have some really good American riders. Now, I think the fact that we've got a Texas rider who could potentially be world champion in the next couple of years is a dream come true.
For me, it's a dream come true. Just to be racing in a world championship, a race in America is already the big thing for my season. It's great for the state. It's great for motorcycling in general and all motorsports. I think it's going to be the best track in America, and I can't wait to be on it.
We want a track that's challenging. We want a track that's got sequences of corners that tie themselves together. Stuff like that's what we look for. And you know, some elevation change, and that's one thing that we've got here in Austin.
Tavo Hellmund has known Bernie Ecclestone for a long time. Kevin Schwantz has known Tavo Hellmund for a long time. So it all ties together pretty nicely, doesn't it? So what's going to happen that's significant about this is that we're going to have MotoGP, Formula One, the world's two premier forms of road racing, at the same venue in the same year in the United States, and that's going to be 2013.
We started thinking about wanting to be inclusive instead of exclusive, and so we thought we're geographically positioned in the center between both coasts, between Canada, between Central America, and we really want this to be something that everyone is proud of. We felt like that this isn't just a Texas track or an American track. This is a track for all, so it's our way of inviting all the Americas.
You can't help but be impressed with Tavo, and you can't help but be impressed with his enthusiasm and his commitment to making Circuit of the Americas just such a fine product. And all of that rubbed off on us, and the final thing was, I always find Texans so much like Australians. I mean, you could, you know, aside from the fact they talk funny, that you know, you could be back home right at the moment, not in Texas. I mean, we are very, very kindred spirits, Texans and Australians.
My whole goal for the track down here was to try to attract the best forms of motorsport from around the world. We're really lucky that we have the two-wheel and the four-wheel World Championships, something we're very proud of and excited about. And I have been a huge V8 supercars fan for a long time, even before they were that. I mean, Australian touring cars, it was a great series. Tony, what he's built over the last 15 years is, I think, arguably one could make the case that it's without a doubt, you know, the best touring car series in the world. And so for me, on a personal mission of providing the best form of motorsport, we've thought it was a natural fit.
Look, it's really exciting for us. You know, we're really, really proud to have the opportunity that Tavo and the people of Circuit of the Americas have presented us with. And
I'm here with Tavo Hellmund, who's the brains behind this incredible facility which is in construction here. Everything behind us is going to be the Circuit of Americas.
I think you have to pick a good geographic location, right? It doesn't matter what kind of event you're doing. And with us being positioned directly between both coasts in America and between Central America and Canada, it's a great location from a global perspective. This track has not been conceived and designed by consortiums or sovereign wealth nations. It's by guys that have swept garages just like you and raced their hearts out and know what a good track should be. I think the really cool corners are going to be this, 40 meters of elevation. I fought Tilke on it, similar to Beckett's Maggots, right through here, very quick. This is 1.2 kilometer, very similar to Istanbul Turn 8, except for that it's quicker, it's downhill, and it's right-handed. You have to build a track from the ground up. You don't modify another institution. You don't modify anything. You don't play football in Yankee Stadium. You play baseball.
This stage of the track here, how far is this through the actual project? Because the time, you know, you've got over a year until the Grand Prix.
Well, I think that we are probably very tight on time, being perfectly candid, but we'll have a Grand Prix next year in November.
Now, construction underway for a new F1 venue near Austin, Texas, scheduled to host its first U.S. Grand Prix on November 18th of 12. And it was announced 2 weeks ago. The long-sought Grand Prix in the shadow of the Manhattan skyline becomes a reality in 2013. The promoter is Leo Hendry Jr., former Le Mans class-winning racer, businessman, and the very first member of the Council on Foreign Relations ever to appear on Wind Tunnel. And it's our pleasure to have you here. Welcome. Thanks for your time tonight.
The council doesn't get on Wind Tunnel that much.
Probably deserve more airtime.
That's right.
Bernie Ecclestone, talking this weekend about the Grand Prix in Austin, said, quote, I wouldn't want to put my money down that will happen. I hope it will. We're going to do our best to make it happen. But I wouldn't want to say yes to that. Do you think that the Austin race is in trouble?
No, I don't have any insight to the Austin race. It was announced before we had the privilege of putting our announcement out there. Tavo Hellmund is a brilliant promoter.
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. They're two different races in a country that's 3,000 miles in width with 310 million people.
So, Tavo, now that I have praised you, I have anointed you, I've done everything except hand you a check. That may be a long time coming.